everybody, welcome back to Creative2xmom. My name is Lee and today's video is going to be a Books of the Month collaboration. This video is all about the books that we read this month, books that I read personally or books that we read with our kids. I share this video once a month in collaboration with Ingrid from Mommy and Mia Homeschool Chronicles as well as April from The Simple Rugged Path. I will leave the playlist linked down below. And if you're new to our channel, make sure you hit that red subscription button. We talk about parenting, homeschooling, thriving with our kids, and of course, lots and lots of good books. So let's get into today's video. So as a homeschooling mom, I was actually really looking forward to the summer and reading all the things that I wanted to read, and somehow in July I ended up in a reading slump, which is really unusual. I think it was just because we did a lot of travel and we went to the coast and we went to see family. We just did a lot of fun stuff. So it was like that culmination of we were having so much fun that I didn't actually pick up a book, which is kind of weird for me. There was one book that I actually returned to the library. I read about 30 pages of it and I went, eh. It was called A Seashore Christmas. I don't even remember who it was by. It was the third in a series. I think that was probably why I didn't get into it. I didn't realize it was the third in the series until I picked it up from the library, and it just, even though I think it could have been read as a standalone book, it just did not grab my attention. So there was one that I started there and I couldn't get into it. The funny thing is, I actually read this book, which is a kid's book, Everything Cat. It's the kids Q&As. You guys have seen these in our bug unit, and I believe there was one in the birds unit. But we have adopted a stray cat that has been hanging out for about the past 6 months, and we've named him, and he's become a part of the family and this whole thing, and I thought, oh, this is just a fun little way to learn a little bit more about him. I would highly, highly recommend this if you have kids that are in that elementary age and they want to learn about anything. Like I said, I know there's a birds one, I know that there is a bugs one, and there are so many other varieties out there. So this is a really great series to check out if you've got kids. The other two books that I read this month, I have to laugh because they are by the same author. And if you saw my book swap unboxing a few weeks ago, the person that had my name was Cheryl from Cheryl's Country Home, and these were actually the two books that she gifted me. And they were the only two books that I read this month, Cheryl, so thank you so much. These were an absolute hit. You knew exactly what I wanted to read this month, so there we go. This first one, these are both by Sarah McKenzie. If I haven't said that yet, I don't know. Teaching from Rest. And I was really feeling kind of burnt out at the end of the year, probably about April, and this kind of happens to me every spring because the boys are playing baseball. They're still involved in all their other activities. I'm trying to wrap up the homeschool year, get our grades in, the whole thing. And I was just feeling super burnt out. And I thought, I've heard such good things about this book, and I'm going to put this at the top of my priority list for the summer. This was the first one I read. It just spoke to me so much because she talks about how we don't do it out of our own might. We do it by the Lord's leading, and that it's so much of our schooling is feeding into our kids, so much of our time, and that's what a lot of us went into homeschooling for, was to be with our kids more, to speak into them, to work on character issues, to also work on academics, but to raise them as people. And I don't know about you, but if you're a homeschooling mom, sometimes that is easy to forget because you see the test scores, you see the grades, you see what needs to be accomplished, you see the standards. I'm a pretty type A person, and I can get wrapped up into all of that, all of those checklists all the time, and I tend to lose sight of the person. And so much of this book was about remembering that you are teaching people. And I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and we were talking about how important academics are, but also seeing people, because there's no other time in your life where you will just sit in a classroom and be lectured for 6 hours. There's no other time in your life where you will specifically be with the same people at your age level and carry on through that course, you know, like that you're always moving, you're always meeting the same standards, you're always doing this and this, that it's kind of a suspension of the adult life. And not that I expect my kids to be adults, but that just reminded me that those schooling years are not actually, it's just not life. And so this just was a great reminder to see my kids as kids, to remember why I went into homeschooling, And I'm going to put this one beside my bed because I have a tendency to lose sight of that, and I know I'm going to have to revisit this. So thank you, Cheryl. The other book was also from Cheryl. It was in that box, and this is the Read Aloud family. This is the newest one from Sarah McKenzie, and we are a Read Aloud family. You guys have seen my videos every month. The video like this one, I always share what we're reading with our kids. And that's because reading has become such a huge part of our culture. Now, the other thing was, this talks so much about how just reading aloud not only feeds into your kids as individuals, but also feeds into them academically, and how it's the greatest single thing that you can do as a parent to help boost them academically is being able to just sit down and read with your kids. You're improving their vocabulary. You're giving them a framework for future learning. You're helping them learn concepts and understand ideas that are above their current reading level, but you're also creating family memories. You're creating a family atmosphere. You're just creating this bond and this time together that nothing else has the capability of doing. So again, this was just super reinforcement for something that we already do, but it reminded me, like, wait a minute, this really is valuable. We really do have vision for this, and this really is important, not just to us as homeschoolers, but to us as parents and being with our kids. So excellent, excellent book. And that's what I finished for my personal reading. Like I said, I started another one that just did not pan out. It fizzled out. And I have still been reading in the Charlotte Mason Companion, which is an amazing book. It was so good. I got tired of checking it out at the library, and I just purchased myself a used copy, and I've been taking notes on it and highlighting things and learning so much over the summer. I'm classifying that as part of my continuing education, because I started to see this trend in the last year of us kind of flowing and leaning more toward that philosophy. I still am super, super hard on my mathematics, but I see us moving toward that living literature, nature study, natural flow of family life. So that's been an excellent book. I keep looking over there because I can see it on my bookshelf. As far as reading with the kids, like I said, we are a Read Aloud family. We started reading The Candy Makers by Wendy Mass. And my husband reads with the kids at night, so I catch little snippets here and there. And I asked all of them. They all really love it. The kids love it, 12, 10, and 6. My husband said it was okay. It is a very daunting book to take on. It's over 400 pages, and I think that's been part of it for him, as he feels a little overwhelmed. And he also said it's very similar to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I'm hoping to finish that one in August, give you guys a little bit of a better review, but that's what we were reading for Read Aloud time. Then in the car, like I said, we got to go on lots of adventures in July. So we had 3 books that we finished in the car. I was shocked when I realized that we actually finished 3, because that's a lot even for us. The first one, and this was because we went to the coast, Elijah of Buxton. I've had this one on my read aloud list for a long time. It's just never been something that we've been able to have the time to add into our homeschool. So when I saw it as an audiobook, I decided I was going to get it right away, and we were going to do it on this road trip. So you've got Elijah. He's 11 years old, which, like I said, I've got a 12 and a 10-year-old, so this was perfect age range. And he is the first freeborn child that is in this colony in Canada, just across the border. And so it's all kind of about his adventures and understanding what slavery was like at that time. He ends up crossing into America to try to recover some money. There was a man in their colony who wanted to purchase his family, and his money was stolen. And Elijah feels through a chain of events that it was his fault. So he comes to America to try to recover this money. Without spoiling the end of this story, he ends up being a hero in his own right at the end of this story. And this was one of those books that was hard for me personally to listen to. I think I consider myself a pretty well-educated person. I understand the horrors of slavery, but this book was rough for me, particularly toward the end in his time in America. It just was really hard for me to listen to. Would I recommend it for people with kids? Absolutely. I think that it's good to read hard books with your kids. I think it's good to be challenged with hard reads yourself. My 6-year-old, I hesitated because at the end I thought this might be a little bit too much for him. But if you've got a kid that's around 9, 12, to 12 or 13, I would definitely add that to your read aloud list. We love the Boxcar Children. You guys know we love the Boxcar Children. This one is The Mystery on the Train. We've listened to this one several times. You cannot go wrong with Boxcar Children books. And if you're just starting to get into audiobooks, these are about 2 hours long, so they're a good start. And then the last one was Henry and the Paper Route by Beverly Cleary. I don't like the Ramona series. I think Ramona has way too much of an attitude. She kind of drives me crazy, and it's not something I want my kids to emulate. But I have found with Beverly Cleary, if you can pick up any of the books that revolve around Henry Huggins, or Ribsy was a really good one, Ramona and Beezus play a really peripheral part. And so you kind of avoid some of the attitude. You get some of her great writing without the attitude that you don't want to see in your kids. So if I see audiobooks, I always go for the Henry Huggins ones. And those were our books for the month of July. I can't believe, where has this month gone? We're over halfway through the year, and we're pushing on into that second half. School's coming up soon. Holidays are coming up soon. It is crazy. But I am always looking for new books. So I'm going to link the playlist down below to the other contributors of this collaboration. So if you are like me and you love good books, make sure you check out that playlist down below. Also, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your current favorite read is so I can check it out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.